Hey, kia ora, Helen Brahms here. Let's just get this done. Hey, kia ora, Helen Brahms here, coming to you live from Surprise in Arizona. Hope you're having a super fantastic sparkling day. I hope this is going out on Facebook as well, because it was missing from my channel listing as I went live. So I just popped it on. So hopefully the Facebook people are there too. If not, they can jump over to the YouTube channel. I think we might start doing that. I don't know. But anyway, welcome to Porchlight Letters podcast number 2210. Tonight is episode 2 of the healing path, and tonight we're talking about detours and roadblocks. Yes. Yeah, that's what we're talking about, detours and roadblocks. Okay, and I have an announcement. Yes. So Porchlight Reflection Journal, we know this is the original one. There are now 15 volumes published as of today. 13, 14, and 15 went live today. So if you scan up here, that'll take you to the original Porchlight Reflection Journal. And then up the top in the search bar, put Porchlight Reflection Journal, and then just type volume after that, and then hit enter, and it'll bring up all 15 volumes that are now available. So I'm finally excited to get that done. I'm still working on volume 16 and getting that uploaded. So we'll get there. We will get there. We're nailing down we're going to nail down the process. So it's a lot quicker and easier to do each week. Anyway, so tonight we're talking about detours and roadblocks. Sometimes the road to healing isn't straight. There are detours that force us to slow down and roadblocks that make us stop entirely. But these unexpected pauses can teach us just as much as the easy stretches. Yes, they can. Well, that was kind of cool. Huh. I have no words. It teaches us that healing is really linear. Detours often bring insights we wouldn't have found otherwise. How many times? So this is perfect, because how many times are we driving along and we have to and we're driving along, there's roadworks going on, you get detoured over here and the other, and while you're on the detour, you find these cute little places, you find these it could be a shop, it could be a restaurant, it could be something, some feature somewhere that you wouldn't have seen had you stayed on that main road. Had you stayed on that very long straight road, or that main road that you're on, the freeway, the highway or something, and all of a sudden you're now being detoured off onto these side roads and things to get around roadworks or an accident or stuff that's happened on the road, whatever it is, they're causing a redirect, and suddenly you're finding all these really cute places. You might find that cute little antique store that has that perfect thing that you've been looking for years, just to finish off that detail in the house. It is the same when we are healing. Healing is really linear. The detours help us find the pieces that we're missing, and we wouldn't have found them had we not taken those detours. It's the same when you're driving. It's the same sort of thing. You find those little details. You find those cute little, that cute little restaurant that has really good food. I know Brad and I did that. Where were we driving? We used to just go on drives. And we'll go, oh, getting hungry. Should we eat somewhere? Yeah, let's see what we can eat. What place comes up next? And we find this cute little place in the middle of nowhere. There was this barbecue place we found. Where was that? It was on one of we used to do like road trips on the weekends and stuff. We'd just go off for the day. We'll go out driving for the day and come home again. And we're on some back road in the middle of I don't know where. And we were getting hungry. And so it's okay, the next place we'll come along, we'll see what it's like. We come across this shack. It was a barbecue place, and it was a large shack. It was actually a restaurant in the middle of nowhere. It looked like a shack that was about to fall over. There was a lot of cars in the parking lot. We figured this is going to be a good place to eat. So we parked, we went inside, we sat down. We had the most amazing barbecue dinner we had ever had. It was amazing. And I don't even recall whether I could probably find if I go back through my journals, but we found the most amazing place. The barbecue was excellent. The meat was melting in our mouths. It was so good. Had we not gotten off the main road, we wouldn't have found that place. And I don't even know where we were. It was sort of like, oh, let's go see where this road goes. Turn. We go along. Oh, we come to another section. Oh, which way should we go now? Left, right, straight ahead. Let's go see what's down there. And that's kind of how we did some of our road trips on the weekends when we go out driving for the day. It was also the only way we could tire out Gus as well. This was not long. This was back in this would have been back. We got Gus in December of 2004. So this probably would have been around 2005 and stuff. We would go on these day trips. We'd drive along the Blue Ridge Mountains. We'd drive along the tracks along there. We'd go off on these different side roads and things. And we actually went out one day and we went driving for like 9 hours. We were just out driving around and stopping here and there and everywhere. And Gus was a very energetic dog. We finally figured out how to tire Gus. Go for a car ride. But we would not have found this really cool barbecue place had we not gone on one of these little journeys where it was like left, right, straight ahead. When we came to an intersection, left, right, or straight ahead. We did eventually find our way back home. We eventually came across a road that we knew, and we kind of had to figure out which direction we were pointing. Thankfully, the mirror had the little compass thingy on it, so we knew whether we had to go left or right to get back home again. So eventually, but we found this really cool barbecue place. It was amazing barbecue, and the meat literally melted in your mouth. It was so good. The bones, you'd go to pick it up by the bone, and the meat would just stay there on the thing, and you'd have a clean bone in your hand, and the meat would just stay there on the plate. Yeah, it was good grub. Even the sides were amazing. Roadblocks are not failures. They are invitations to rest, reassess, and gather strength. Think about when you're driving in a roadblock. What do most people do when the road is blocked? You can't go anywhere because the road is blocked ahead. There's no way you can detour off because you're between exits. I've had that happen many times. Had that happen when we've been in the RV. And of course, being in the RV, you're up higher, so you can see over the tops of the other cars in front of you. The other thing that we did is that I also had a handheld CB radio, this little handheld one, and it would pick up the signals off the nearest trucks. So we could hear from the trucks we could hear from the truck drivers talking about what was coming up ahead, because the ones who were stuck in the traffic with us would get on the radio and ask the truckers coming the other direction what was going on. And they were telling us, there's an accident up ahead. It's at this thing. You can't get off at that exit there because it's before you get to the exit. We couldn't turn around and go back because the other exits were back behind us. We are stuck there until they can clear this accident. And so when I was in traffic situations like that, I would leave the when you're in an RV, you have time to rest. It's sort of like, okay, this sounds like it's going to take a while, and you're kind of like looking around, and I would actually put the RV in neutral, put the brake on, get out, walk over to the passenger's side to see what I could see down the side of the thing, look down the driver's side, what can I see down the middle there. There was at one time I actually ran back to the bathroom really quick. There was a rest area coming up ahead, but it was past the accident that was blocking the road. And so I just ran back to the bathroom. This is really cool when you have an RV, when you're traveling with your home around you, or even on a holiday. Just pop back to the restroom area and just pray that you can pee really, 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 really fast before the traffic starts moving again. Just little things about being on the road and being by yourself when you're driving, and you got to go. And there was, and so I was able to wait till we got to the rest area, and then I was sort of like, oh, let me quickly grab it. Like I had a water bottle up there with me, but I just felt like something different. So I grabbed like a coconut water out of the fridge on my way back to the driver's seat. And because there's two requirements I had in the RV when I was purchasing my RV. One of them was the bed had to be accessible when the RV was on the road. So when I pulled into a rest area, if I wanted to have a nap, if I was getting tired and needed to have a nap, I could go and lay down in the bedroom on the bed and not have to worry about the fact, and not have to, the bed had to be made up and accessible. It was just that simple. We did that a few times. And then the other one was the kitchen had to be fully accessible. That was one reason why I didn't go with a fifth wheel. Why not have to get a truck to go with it? But the other reason was because all the fifth wheels that I saw, when they closed up, you couldn't access the refrigerator. And I'm sort of like, well, that's useless. If I go into a restaurant and I want food and I can't get in my refrigerator, yeah, no, that wasn't happening. So roadblocks, invitations to rest, reassess and gather strength. I will tell you this, by the time we got past the accident area and we got to the rest area, I was like, I ain't stopping. I had already had my break. But I wasn't stopping because the line to get off into the rest area was backing up on the road. So you had to be in the left-hand lane to get past all of that because the right-hand lane was backed up with traffic trying to get into the rest area. And because I had my little cheat sheet, I had that the next exit book, and I had already written down on my little cheat sheet at what mile marker the rest areas were, where the shopping centers like a Walmart was, or the gas stations like Love's, Flying J, Pilot, those sorts of ones that had the truck stops with them. I already had my little cheat sheet list. I knew which mile marker were coming up to the rest area. I looked at it and I thought, I only have to go 5 miles past that, and there was like a Love's or a Pilot, Flying J that had the big truck park area. So that's what I did, is I waited till I got to there, and it worked out really well. I found a little spot to go and have a break. And Zeffie, I was able to take Zeffie out and let her walk around for a little bit and do her thing. And then we got back in and we had some lunch, and then we carried on our way. So roadblocks, they are invitations to rest, reassess, and gather strength. Sometimes you feel like lost time is actually preparation. Sometimes what feels like lost time is actually preparation for what's ahead. So there's times you're sort of like, oh, I've wasted so much time on this, or I've wasted so much time here, No, it's all intentional. You just don't realize it. It's preparing you for what's coming. You're doing a little stretching and growing during that time. You're gathering your strength because you're going to need it for what's ahead. Our path may shift, but we can still move towards wholeness in ways we never imagined. So path is going this way. We suddenly shift over here, but we're still moving towards where we need to go. What happens when we stop fighting the detour and allow ourselves to experience where we've landed? Oh, you get to find all sorts of good stuff in there, all sorts of good stuff that you wouldn't have found had you not gotten off the path, if you hadn't had that detour. We release the need to catch up and focus on the step directly in front of us. Oh my gosh, I am doing that so much. I feel like I need to. There's times, especially when Brad was in hospital, or in fact, I will tell you, the biggest detour everybody has been in that kind of was a roadblock for some people was when COVID hit. I called it the global pause. It was like somebody had hit the pause button on life, and we had all of this time to finally stop and go, because you feel like there's times that you feel like you're rushing, and somebody would just wanting somebody to pick up the remote and hit the pause button. I have a remote here. So, you want them to hit the pause button on life. And that's what the whole global pause time was when we were dealing with COVID and everything else. That was our catch up and focus on what steps directly in front of us. Am I going to have a job when this is finished? I don't know. What can I do in the meantime? I still got to get money coming in. I can't go to work because of the COVID thing. And people were getting laid off left and right because of COVID and everything else, not being able to work. Businesses were closing because they couldn't open their doors. Some people took that as a chance to pivot and do something else. But it gave them a chance to, for me, I found it a great time to just stop and pause and catch up on everything. It was awesome. But it allowed me to lay out plans, upcoming plans on things to do and all of that sort of stuff. Where was my business going to go? I was in travel at the time. Travel literally shut down during that time. Nobody was going anywhere. Nobody was traveling. So if I couldn't do travel, what could I do next? And that's when I started my genealogy business. April 22nd. It was April 22nd, April 23rd. 23rd or the 22nd. It's either the 23rd or the 22nd of 2020 is when we opened the doors on the genealogy business. And all I had was a form. I had no business name. I had no website. I had no branding. I had nothing. I just had a form. And I announced to everybody I was open. And the next day I had my first client. And that became what we started doing next. So that gave me time to catch up and focus on the next step. We recognize that slowing down doesn't mean we're falling behind. No. Sometimes it's good that you slow down because you have to take time to get through that part of the journey. So you've got to slow down. Sometimes you slow down without realizing that you have slowed down or why. And then later on, it becomes obvious because something else happens. And it's like, oh my gosh, if I was going at that speed, I would have got caught up in all of that mess. Have you ever been in a vehicle when you are driving and you got there was one time I was driving and I had pulled out to overtake this truck, and I'm putting my foot down on the accelerator, and my vehicle was going nowhere. It wasn't speeding up or anything else. And I'm like, what the heck? And then out of nowhere, I'm in the left lane, the truck's in the right lane. I put my foot down to get past the truck, and I put my foot on the accelerator, and nothing is happening. And then out of nowhere, this car comes on my inside and goes between this virtually non-gap between the truck and myself. Had I accelerated, we could have been causing a big collision at the back of the truck. But my car was going nowhere. My guardian angels were there holding the vehicle back. Then there's been other times when you've been overtaking like a truck. I don't know why trucks, but trucks are always good things to, when you're overtaking, thinking about this. I'm sitting there driving along, and I'm not even going over the speed limit to overtake a truck. And all of a sudden my vehicle starts speeding up, and I'm like, I'm on cruise control. Why is my car speeding up? And when you get past, you look in your rearview mirror and you see the truck go into your lane where you were. Sometimes we have to slow down. Sometimes we don't realize that we're slowing down, but if we recognize we're slowing down, it doesn't mean we're falling behind. It means we are avoiding something that's coming up. We're not going to be in that place to be sideswiped or whatever by whatever's coming towards us or happening on the same path. We trust that roadblocks are shaping us into someone stronger and softer at once. When you get those roadblocks, there's a lot of stretching, a lot of growing, a lot of self-assessment going on at the same time. And you're learning how to handle the pause, because a roadblock is nothing more than a pause. How we carry forward: practice patience with your process, especially when progress feels slow. There is a reason you are going slow. Don't be ready to rush through things. Take time with things. Choose gentleness over frustration. Healing cannot be rushed. Like we've been talking about the last 2 weeks, almost 3 weeks, 3 weeks now since Seffi passed. It's been 23 days. Today's day 23 since she passed. Grief doesn't have a timetable. Grief has its own timetable, and it's not going to tell you what it is. It's going to happen when it happens. When those moments hit, it pushes you off onto a detour where you can do some more stretching and growing and find that little piece to help you keep moving forward. Or it could be a roadblock because that path is blocked for a reason, and you just need to take the time to breathe. So that's the time that you choose gentleness over frustration. I know there's times when in the grieving process where it's sort of like you feel like there's days that you feel like you're walking on dry sand, when you take a step forward, but you're not really making any progress. It's sort of like, you feel like you're not making any progress. This is why I hate dry sand. I like wet sand because it's firmer. I don't like dry sand. It gets into all sorts of places, but I don't like dry sand. And but there's times that you're walking on it and you're really feeling the struggle to walk because of how soft the sand is, and you kind of feel like at times like you're standing in place just walking. You're not really getting anywhere. Choose gentleness over frustration. Stay open to unexpected lessons and growth, even when the path looks different. Yep, there are going to be unexpected. Expect the unexpected. You're going to get the unexpected coming at you from all different angles. Expect the unexpected. There's going to be lessons in there. There's going to be times of growth and strength. And if the path looks different, that's okay. You're still going to get the unexpected because they may be detouring you somewhere else. Keep showing up even if the steps are small or scattered. It's like walking in that sand. Keep going, keep moving forward, keep showing up. Sometimes you're moving at a half pace. That's okay. It's okay. In our legacy, our stories hold weight in the way we navigate our roadblocks. When we share our detours, we give others permission to breathe through theirs. Remember, somebody out there needs to hear your story. Something in your detour could be that little piece that somebody's looking for to help them move forward. Your pauses, pivots, and reroutes can become someone else's map for hope. Yeah. And I will tell you this from somebody who has mentored other cancer caregivers. There are times that something in my story has clicked with them and helped them to get through that situation. The fact that if you can talk to somebody who has been through something similar to what you have been through, it makes a huge difference. This is why when Brad was going through his cancer journey, I loved the support group that we had because we were all in the same boat. We may have been dealing with different types of cancers in our spouses, but we were literally all in the same boat. We were caregivers. We had the same issues. We had spouses who didn't want to do what the doctor said, who wanted to do their own thing. That was them trying to their life, feeling like their life was out of control, and that was their way of taking control back. Even though it wasn't the best option for them, but we had to give them the space to do that and figure it out for themselves. Having doctors that we didn't like, side effects, all of this sort of thing. There's a group of people when you come together for a similar thing, like you're a cancer caregiver for your loved one, and you, even though the cancers are different, you all have overlapping areas that you can help each other through. And I absolutely loved and adored my caregiver group back in Virginia. They were absolutely amazing. I tried joining one when Brad's cancer came back. I tried joining one in San Diego, and it just wasn't the same. You go in there, and like I showed up with my knitting. I showed up with my knitting. We're in this conference room. There's this big conference table there. We sit at the conference table, and I'm like thinking, okay, I don't like conference tables for this sort of thing. I liked an open circle. We had like a coffee table between us and our groups back east, but we still had an open circle where we could see each other. We could reach across and grab somebody's hand, or just get up and walk over and give them a hug. But this one, everybody had to sit around a conference table. The person who was leading it came in. They had an agenda of what they wanted to talk about. They didn't allow for you to get off their agenda. Whereas back east, yes, they had topics to cover, but they were also open enough to see, let's see where this direction goes. And the first thing we always did every time in Virginia when we were meeting is we would go around, say who we were, what cancer our spouses were dealing with, and what was our struggle this week. In this other place in San Diego, it was like, go around, do that. But then we couldn't talk about problems because they had these are the topics we're going to cover today. They had an agenda and they were not going to be pushed off it. And I was sort of like, yeah, no. Back east in Virginia, they had an agenda of topics they could cover, but basically they were open enough. Let's see where the discussion goes. Let's see where the problems are, and let's start helping these people with the with issues that are coming up. So that there is showing up. And I was showing up every week that we met. We showed up. Everybody had different challenges. We would all then hash it out together. Oh yeah, I had that challenge too. I found blah 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 that worked this way. I had that problem too, and this is how we got around it. Or I'm having that problem too. I need help with that. I got raked over the coals. I don't know how many times. And we would lovingly rake each other over the coals for not taking breaks, for not taking care of ourselves. Golden rule of caregiving is always take care of yourself first so you can take care of others. And this is when you are a caregiver, you're always wanting to give. When you're a natural caregiver, you're wanting to give, but not receive. And there were some of us in the room that we would not allow ourselves to be taken care of first. We would take care of our loved one first. Whatever their needs were, we would take care of that. I'll take care of myself later on. Yeah, no, it doesn't work that way. So your pauses, pivots, and reroutes can become someone else's map for hope. So remember that. Whatever you're going through, there could be somebody later on. And this is why it's so important to tell your story, because something in your story is going to be a map of hope for somebody else. Now we have your 4 reflection questions for tonight. Number 1, when was the last time a detour brought unexpected lessons into your life? Number 2, how do you tend to respond when you face a roadblock in your healing? Number 3, where might slowing down actually support your growth right now? And number 4, what reminders help you trust the timing of your journey? And in closing, detours and roadblocks are not the end of the journey. Sometimes they are where the healing begins. And with that, we are out of here. Go out, have a super fantastic, sparkling evening, and we will catch you guys back here tomorrow evening at 6